Hello and welcome to the TT Daily Roundup, day number 2. We've got Tom Birchall here.
Hello, Christoph.
This man needs no introduction.
Can I have one anyway?
Yes, it is the one, the only Mike Booth.
Hello.
AKA Boothy. Gents, hive of activity right now. It's been touch and go and it has been wet all day. We don't want to spend too much time talking about the weather, but currently as it stands, roads are going to close in less than an hour. Sidecars are going out first, Tom.
Yep, temperature's coming up. There's a bit of a breeze, roads are drying good. We've put our trust in Gary Thompson. Done his job again. He knew he had to hold it off for a bit, but he knows that everybody needs to get out there. I mean, thankfully the newcomers got their lap in last night, so that's you know, cleared a load of worry and nerves and all that stuff. That's all gone now. So these lads can just set off and get hopefully 2 laps under the belt and get straight, run through and do that big job, bottom of Bray Hill from Governor's Dip
all the way down
there.
That's
for
the
big
first
job.
time.
Yeah.
Boothy, it's, I don't know about you, but it feels like it's been a long old way. Even though we saw a tiny bit of action yesterday, it still feels...
I think today's been particularly long because we just didn't know whether it was going to happen or not, did we? It's been wet all day and, yeah, finally we've got some dry weather, so all the boys and girls will be really chomping at the bit now to get some laps done, because the majority of the people here haven't done a lap yet round the TT course this year. So there's all them little bits and pieces that you just need to iron out that, you know, we've said it before, that this course does things to motorbikes and sidecars that no other circuit in the world does. So they'll want to get that first lap in, just see what breaks, you know, see what they need to work on. Hopefully nothing, but you know, it batters the bikes to bits, so they'll need to get their eye in. So yeah, I think a couple of good laps tonight.
There's loads of lads as well who are riding a new bike for the first time on the TT course. I mean, yeah, okay, they've perhaps done Donington, Alton, Northwest, but that just don't matter anymore. You know, this place is just different to anywhere else in the world. So pretty much all the top lads, there's probably only Dean that's going to be, you know, putting his old pair of slippers on and going out for a ride.
Right.
So there'll be loads of stuff to learn.
You're on TV.
I am, yeah.
You're on radio.
Yeah.
What I want you to do before we come back for the outro, I want you to get the best bit of paddock gossip or paddock information.
Okay,
right?
got you.
There is a winner at the end, all right?
Right, okay.
Right.
What's the prize?
You'll see it at the end. Right, so before the action gets underway, me and Tom headed down to Pete Founds and Jevan Walmsley's garage to find out what was going on with those guys. Take it away. All right, we've left Boovy on the radio and we've headed down to Team Founds. Pete, Jev, everyone's beavering away behind us. You look like you're not doing a great deal, but it's a huge hive of activity, right?
It's massive, yeah. Half of them are your boys fitting cameras.
What's happening at the minute? What more is there to do? Or is this new stuff that you wanted to do that you couldn't do before the first session?
You always run out of time, don't you, when you come in the TT? So
right.
you make sure you do all the important bits, and then there's always a few nice to do bits. So we just take the opportunity to do some of them, and
I mean,
a little bit of tinkering.
You've seen all this before. You've been here. You've done it. For anybody that's watching, I don't know if how much knowledge they have about sidecars, but this is like, I want to say like pure factory. Like there's some absolute one-of-a-kind things going off behind us, isn't there, Tom?
This class, sidecar class, it's sort of like the last prototype class.
Yeah.
These bikes they're not manufactured by Honda or, you know, Yamaha or whatever. They are just a bespoke racing bike. And the lengths that these lads go to chase that lap time, that race win, it's mind-blowing, really. I was just explaining, you guys have gone from the sort of conventional upright engine setup, haven't you, to rotating it forward and to lower that centre of gravity and to get the bike to handle better and iron out some of the creases that this course throws at you. But it's not just doing that with your engine, is it, and going riding?
Yeah, it sounds simple, doesn't it? It sounds simple, just rotate the engine forward, but there's,
give us a bit of a rundown of what you've actually had to do.
You change one thing and everything changes, so you rotate it forward, it changes your gearbox sprocket height, it changes all your lubrication system in the bottom end of the engine, so you've got to dry sump it, and your chassis, you've got to change your chassis round to enable it to get laid down into the bike.
So that's oil system, water system, fuel system, oil
pretty
system.
much everything, pretty much everything.
Exhaust system,
rider position, bodywork, airboxes.
Yeah. So you've just
intake.
redesigned your sidecar.
I've just made a new bike. Yeah.
Give us a rough figure of this little, how many degrees? realistically? 10,
Do you know
10
what?
20?
Embarrassingly, I don't know off the top of my head.
Well, let's say 10.
Well, yeah, I think
Yeah,
it'll be
maybe.
more than that. It'll be like, it won't be 45, it'll be 30 degrees.
Yeah,
something
maybe
like
30 or
that.
40 degrees probably.
I mean, that is whatever. It's very little. To the naked eye, for me, I would not be able to tell that had happened. What price has it cost you to get to that?
You can't put a price on it because
No.
it's motorsports. You can spend as much as you've got, can't you? With
Yeah.
motorsport. So if you've got 10 grand, you'll do it in 10 grand. If you've got 100 grand, you'll do it in 100 grand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and don't quote them figures.
But
you know what I mean?
my
I'm
point
just
is, it
saying.
doesn't come cheap, does it? It doesn't
No,
come cheap
no.
for what you're getting.
It doesn't, no.
But
It
the
doesn't.
difference is
Yeah.
night and day, I guess, when you actually get out there.
Yeah, it's what you make of it, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? You can, you can, like as I said, you can spend a fortune on something, can't you? Or you can make the best of what you've got and do it. Make your own bits, fabricate your own bits. Do you know what I mean? There's ways and means of doing it. So,
Is there any other way of getting to this point without doing what you did, though? Or not?
Could have rung me up, I'd have done it for you.
On the cheap?
No, all that work you've done, people don't realise who's watching at home. The sidecar teams, they're so hands-on. I mean, you'd literally have to do everything yourselves, don't you?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, that you've got good supporters and sponsors, I'm sure, but they enable you to make all these changes. But from being an engineer to riding it, to being a team manager, to driving your truck here, everything was into it, doesn't it?
yeah. It's a big. I wouldn't say it's a challenge. It's a big job. Do you know what I mean? You've got to dedicate. You can't do it half-hearted. There's no doing it. I'll just do a little bit at the weekends. It's every night, every weekend, every spare minute you've got.
That's the draw of this place, though, isn't it?
That's the challenge. isn't it?
The draw
Yeah.
of a win here. You will dedicate your life to it.
Quick question. Is that your well-behaved dog that we can hear in the background?
No, that's not my dog.
Oh, is it
that
not
one.
yours?
My
That's
dog
fine.
doesn't bark. I told you that.
Well, that's what you said
She's a
earlier.
good
You're
girl.
like, she's a good girl, and then all I can hear in the background. So apologies if you can hear this dog in the background.
It's not mine. Yeah.
Jev, if you jumped on this bike compared to last year's bike, would you know as a passenger that the differences have been made?
See, we was talking about that the other weekend when we was racing, and I don't think you can. But we was still floating ground lefts and stuff. But I think if you got the two bikes next to each other and went out on one and then went out on another one, I think then you'd tell a massive difference. But I've not been around here on it yet.
Yeah.
So Tom might say a completely different bike. But for short circuit, didn't seem that different. But
So you're going to get to the top of the rail and be like, oh yes, this is way different.
Well, we're hoping so. Yeah. So, from a good perspective.
And is the main thing aerodynamics or is it handling?
It should be a bit of both, hopefully.
Definitely a bit.
Yeah.
Definitely a bit of both. You've lowered the driver. You've lowered a lot of weight. Not saying that you're a fat lad, I hope, Pete. You've lowered the centre of gravity with the engine, then with the driver. With that, you've lowered the frontal area. You're not hitting as much wind. And I can see you've made some more bodywork changes that brought the side of the bike in, and that just reduces the whole frontal area of the thing. Because they are big things, aren't they, to shove through the air. Little 600cc engine, it's doing a big job. So whatever you can do to sneak little bits and bobs, it's going to help.
Marginal gains.
And that's where we're at the minute. It's so close at the front, isn't it? We're all looking for small gains to just give us a little bit of an advantage. That's what we're all doing. There isn't one pill that you're going to take now that's going to give you 20 seconds faster than someone else, so you've got to take all the little small gains that you can take.
And when one of the teams do it, you've got to do it as well, haven't you? You kind of just chase each other, don't you?
Yeah, to some degree. If somebody's found something, a technology or a formula that works well, then why wouldn't you do it? Why wouldn't you want to do it?
So what's the expectations then coming in? Obviously, let's say the Crows are coming in as favourites. There's no doubt about that. The boys are local. They won the last two, but you're right there. You're absolutely right there with them, aren't you?
Yeah, we'll be trying.
No doubt.
Well, look back to your form, back to 22, 23, you pushed me and Ben all the way, and we did the first 120 lap, and then you brought on the second 120 lap. An amazing achievement, because I know what it's like to do one of them. So you have got that in your armoury, you're both capable, you've done it, proved it. Last year didn't quite work out for you.
It didn't
show
fall
your
into
full
place for us last
potential.
year. No, we struggled a little bit straight line speed, and whatever we did, we went backwards a little bit. Like tyres was a big thing last year as well, and that does mess around with your suspension and all your other settings. So something we just didn't quite have right last year, and we know that. But we're on it this year, trying to sort it out, and hopefully we can find them few seconds that we lost last year, to be honest. Because as you say, we know we've got it in us. It's just trying to. TTs is always the same, and everything's got to fall into place. You can't just have a good bike and not ride well, and you can't just ride well and not have a good bike. It's everything's got to be the whole package in it. So
and you guys are qualifying this year for the first time, essentially, rather than going off your selected numbers pre-TT. Whoever qualifies the fastest will be going off first. Does that play into it at all, or is it just it is what it is? You don't mind how it is what it is. It is what it is, right? Yeah.
For us, with new bike, new setup, we're not going to sandbag. We need to go as fast as we can because we need to know what the bike's capable of. We need to know how it's going to handle when we're at top speed. So, like as Jev says, it is what it is. We're going out there in quali. If the conditions are good, we're going to go as hard as we can.
Have you thought about where you'd want to be? Solo riders, they'll select a position because they think if he comes through, I can just jump on back of him, or I want somebody to chase. Would you rather set off number one, or would you rather have somebody to chase?
For me personally, it doesn't bother me because I think because the Isle of Man, you've got to get the right mindset of the TT, haven't you? You're not there for a road race, although it can be fun sometimes on the roads, but you're there to do. I thought I'd get the crowd going, but it's about just getting your head down and going. You know yourself, and you get your head down and you come to a certain bit and you go, right, I know I can go through here without shutting off, or I only need to come back one gear, I can do this. And it's about, you're not thinking like, I'm going to catch him and get on the back of him. It's all about you hitting all your braking points, hitting all your turning points, and getting through the fast corners fast and carrying your corner speed. So that's why I said it doesn't really matter where we start. It's not going to make me ride any faster or slower if I'm chasing someone or whatever. I don't think so anyway.
Yeah. How about for you, sat in the bike? Does it have a?
Half the time I won't be looking, will I? So I wouldn't see if you can catch anyone.
But when you are close by, how does it feel as a passenger? Because you're not in control of when the overtake happens or how close the overtake happens.
No, I suppose you just anticipate when he's going to overtake.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, don't know. Not really thought about that sort of thing. When we catch someone, it's just like usually you catch them, you try to get past them.
Looking at the floor.
I'm too busy looking at the floor. Because when we do pass them, usually it's in a straight line, isn't it? So unless you're over the back into part of the square and you're going all.
That's why you're good at what you do, though, because you have to, as a good passenger, good cycle rider, you have to hand that over to the driver.
Yeah.
And go, that's your bit, and when you want to do that bit, I'm with you, and we'll get through it together. That's how the partnership works. It has to work, otherwise it doesn't.
Boys, we're going to leave you to it. Thank you ever so much for having us.
Thank you.
And best of luck for the next 2 weeks.
Good luck, man. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Very much. Cheers, guys. So there we have it. It's gone past 10 o'clock now, but for the first day in 2025, we've had some action, some proper action. Thomas, we saw the sidecars go out first, so let's start there.
That was cool to see the guys.
Sorry, all I was going to say, it's fine. It was all untimed, so we don't officially know any times.
It was cool to see the guys go off first, because that doesn't normally happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The conditions were a little bit iffy, and it's fair to say that 3 big slick tyres on this circuit are a bit safer than 2 skinny solo tyres, you know what I mean? So they went first, and the pressure got took off, you know, doing that untimed session. If they'd have said, right, it's qualifying, it wouldn't have been fair to the lads and ladies who were riding. So the good call came from the tower. It's untimed, go and ride your bikes. So that's what they did. Lads like Crows, obviously, you know, straight on the money. They look really good. A bit of a problem for Fownes and Jevan Walmsley. They stopped on the circuit. They managed to get back, but didn't get any proper laps in, you know, probably didn't learn anything other than that they had a problem. Birchall, Rosney looked great, two laps under their belts. Lee Crawford, Scott Hardy, they looked strong straight away. Caught Birchall and Rosney and passed them on the road. And then newcomers, you know, like George Olden, right, we talked about how happy he was to get out on the circuit. Brilliant, he just looked mega on the road, not doing anything daft, and just looked right and at home, so really good start.
Good. Uwe, you all right?
I'm well, yeah. Yeah, and I'm even better for seeing all the lads and ladies ride today. The solos all got, well, a lot of them, not all of them, a lot of them got 4 laps tonight. So it was the little bikes first, so the guys could go out on their super sport bike or the super twin if they've got one, and then a couple of laps on the stockers or the super bike. So yeah, unfortunately, one of the favourites, Davey Todd, got halfway around the lap on his small bike on the super twin. Yeah,
beautiful looking Pritchard run bike.
I didn't see it. So it's got like Moto 2 fairings, right?
Yeah,
so it doesn't look like a standard pattern, does it?
No, it's a German company that make this carbon fairings, and I picked one up today, and it's like picking up a crisp.
Yeah, the paint's heavier than the actual fairing, isn't it?
Perfectly strong, amazing piece of kit. But this is Clive Paget. He knows how to build a beautiful little racing bike.
Yeah.
But he broke down at a crucial time.
He did, and it's a little bit par for the course with them super twins, isn't it? Or the lightweight bikes, or whatever they're called these days. The light little race bikes. Do you know that the idea of that class many years ago was basically to have an easier sort of a bit of a stepping stone class, really, for people maybe coming from the Manx. Bikes aren't as quick. The idea was that it was going to be a little bit less expensive to build, but it's kind of, they turned into little super bikes, haven't they? But yeah, he's got 3/4 of the way around the lap, and he's broke down. Crucially, that meant he didn't get out on his big bike because he was stuck around the lap. So he's one of the big players who didn't get a lap in. The rest of the guys did. So I'm thinking Pete, he did 2 laps on the super stock bike.
Yep.
I spoke to one of the lads from his team, and they said, you know, rather than kind of wasting the laps on the super bike, risking the super bike in iffy conditions, it made sense to ride the stocker. And the conditions were quite iffy today. Spoke to John McGuinness after the session, and he said he was, you know, I think he was a little bit surprised that they ran it, to be honest. But yeah, he said there was lots of sections where there was quite a lot of water and they had to be really careful. So, you know, they did have flags to tell them when where it's damp. But it's the issue with a circuit like this is all the 90% of the corners are completely blind. You can't see round the corner until you're at the apex. So you can't attack it. So yeah, like Tom said, it was nice that it wasn't timed. Unofficially, I've seen some numbers. A few people were timing a few riders, and Michael Dunlop was going very fast, as was Dean Harrison. And not far behind them was Mike Brown. So yeah, there's some. I think when I say fast, it was damp, so we're kind of mid 120s, sort of 124.5 miles an hour.
Michael looked bang on the money straight away. Whatever he threw his leg over it, he was there. You know, that beautiful little pattern, he's not ridden it for 12 months. Straight back under the bubble, you know, riding it like he just got off it a day ago. Them guys who put that together, Lorenzo and Andrea, they've got something to work at now. Then straight back in, jumped on that Ducati. He were jockeying that bike, you know, wheeling it, standing up on pegs. Just looked so comfortable straight away. Got a couple of laps in on that and did it quietly, got away from the pack and did his own thing. Straight back in on the superbike. Like we've just talked about, Davey's stuck out in the middle of nowhere and Pete's on his super stock bike. Michael was straight in at the deep end on the big bike. Didn't matter about the conditions, he wanted to know what that bike was capable of, what it felt like. And Shane, his mechanic, he just did one lap on it, but he said, feels great straight away, a couple of changes, thought he'd throw a lap in on the super stock bike. So far so good for him. He's put time in on every bike and it looks good immediately.
So before we go, gents,
I've got some gossip.
I set you a challenge. What's your gossip?
Michael Dunlop
Yeah.
is using frog skins for fairings.
What frog skins?
Makes him jump further.
I can't beat that. I can't beat that.
Unofficially, I know people weren't timing, but I heard he'd set a 130 on that Supersport bike as well.
Really? That's no.
Yeah, I think you need to check your sources on that one.
Timed it on my watch. Timed it on my watch. Right, let's wrap it up there. Make sure you check out the website, omttracers.com, for all the latest news. We're going to be back tomorrow with more action, more bikes, and hopefully Davey Todd can make amends for what he lost out on the big bike tonight. Cheers, gents.
No worries.
See you there.